No. What's up, Brando? Brando Jones Films here with the Jeff Edwards. We're gonna ask you some questions. Have fun. Relax. Just got off a songwriter session. How about let's start with what's the worst piece of booking advice you've ever been given?
The worst piece of booking advice I've ever been given. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it for the camera because I think it would make a lot of people mad, but a lot of people say to go do open mics, and that's the way to get gigs, and I just have never had much success with that.
I think that's also true. I think it's a good way to network and meet other musicians, but yeah. I also do not see.
I should preface that with, it is the best way to meet people to form bands and do collaborations. I've not found a better way to do that, except for maybe the Upstate Live Music Meetup is also good for that. I just personally have not had any success booking gigs from open mic. Your mileage may vary, as with everything.
Good. Okay. Have you ever showed up to a venue and immediately went, oh no?
Many times. Too many to talk about. In fact, I don't really want to name names, but there used to be a place that billed itself as a yacht club. I'll leave it at that. That was one of them. There was another place out on Highway Who's What's It, way out in I don't know where. And when I pulled into the lot, they had an entire 20-foot chicken wire trailer full of bottle caps from all the beers they drank. And it was a biker bar. And when I played, half of them walked out within the first 30 minutes because I didn't know any Hank, Willie, or Waylon. But, you know, clearly goth is my thing. So the ones that stayed had a great time. And it actually was a pretty cool, welcoming place once you get around the rough edges.
It's true. All right, let's do, how about, who was the first person to ever pay you to play music, and how much was it?
Oh, I got to give props to Mally at Ocha Tea Shop. She gave me some of my first Greenville gigs. She did pay me, although it's a tea shop. You know, she couldn't break the bank, but she paid me a little something. The weekend I moved to Greenville, she gave me a gig Friday at Ocha Tea Shop. Pure acoustic, no mic, no nothing. I got free tea. I made a little money. It was a great time. Thank you, Mally. I still owe you.
Thank you, Mally. What do you, I guess, now I'm not even going to look, I'm just going to go off the cuff here. So what is your stance on free gigs?
I like to do them for a good cause. I like to do charity gigs. I'm really like that the community came together for my 4 friends that were killed by a drunk driver New Year's Eve. Thank you to Tribbles for putting that on and the people who planned it. You know, I think Tribbles is a great place. I like the efforts people are making to keep that place in business. I do free gigs. I prefer them to be for a good cause, of course. But, you know, I'm open. You know, you give me your pitch and we'll see if we can work. You know, charity, feeding the homeless, raising money for people who got hurt, education, elderly, that kind of thing.
What about for exposure?
I would need a little proof of the credibility of the exposure. That's kind of like, that's a joke in the musician community, right? Like, yeah. I'll die of exposure memes and all that. There are reasons to do it, and I do it. I'm more of a fan of working on free videos for exposure with people.
Okay.
Like we've worked together like on an art grant and stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
And that's the kind of thing I would say I tend more towards free exposure. Yeah. Because it's reusable, it's something you can put in your portfolio, whereas most of the time a one-off gig, you know, and a lot of the places around here are small. Now, somebody wants me to play for exposure at the Peace Center, then I'm going to probably do it, or, you know, Music on Main, or one of the big city festivals. Places with a big crowd, that you'll probably get more bang for your buck. Your average bar has, you know, a smaller clientele, so you might meet some dedicated fans, you might not. It's just kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, not right. Okay, let's see. Have you? Don't lie to me. Have you ever lied to get a gig?
I don't think so. Is that a lie? The one I think everybody is tempted to fudge on, and I'm telling too many musicians secrets. I know that people are going to come out of the woodwork.
This is why you're supposed to be listening to this. This is what this is going to be about, musician secrets.
I think most people fudge the question, do you have a following? Because it's kind of a loaded question. It's like if you and I were dating and I was like, do you have a good relationship with your mom? There's no right answer to that question. If you do, you're a mama's boy. If you don't, then you have emotional issues. The following question is like that because
that's good.
If you tell me you do have a following, because you do, and like, a lot of us play regionally, we do, but you've got people kind of spread out all over. The place books you and says,
not wrong.
Right? So they want you to commit to butts in a seat when they say, what's your following? And they should know most places will tell you there's no guarantees on that, even if you've got a really good following. So if I'm ever tempted to fudge it, then, I am not one to lie to get anything to happen. I will probably put things in a positive light and say we have a pretty good following, but you need to set us up, to be successful. And that means being our partner by helping us spread the word, posting online, proper event support on social media, proper advertising. A lot of the people that walk into these gigs, they don't even know live music was going to happen that night.
Yep.
They walk in, they wanted their PBR, and their pickleback shots and all that. They walk in and there's a band. It could be Journey, but if they're not looking for Journey, if they just wanted to sit and, bullshit with their friends, then they're not going to want the live music, right? You need to make the people aware of that at your venue. And bands are good about that because we're trying to get a following to put butts in the seat.
100.
So for bands, I highly recommend bring signage, bring a banner, bring a sandwich board, get your mom, put your t-shirt on your mom, make her stand outside so people know that there's a band playing so they know what they signed on for. And then when you're good, they'll stick around and they'll drink more and everybody wins.
Dude, that's great advice. That's what you're here for, that. Last but not least, how many emails do you send to try to get booked a day or a week, whatever you want to try to give me? And what is try to walk me through it. I'll get this from you. I'll just send it to me. But what are you sending? What's your one-sheeter look like?
Ooh, now we're getting into Trey, Jeff Edwards Band secrets.
Yeah, secrets. Give them.
I'll only give you generals.
Okay, give me generals.
Get a good delivery program. Don't try to do it yourself. Get MailChimp or SendGrid, or don't try and do it yourself, number one. Number two, I send out at least 1,000 a month.
Got to.
I'd have to look up the actual numbers. And you can't get discouraged when people don't reply to that. It's more like the groundwork.
Yes.
Don't get
discouraged.
I've had one of my more successful venues. I sent them 10, 15 mailings, and they said they never opened them and they didn't know who I was. But when I went in person and they said, Jeff Edwards Band, they typed on their laptop and they had 10 or 15 promos sitting in their mailbox. They're like, I have been seeing that. I knew I heard of you somewhere. So you're building brand awareness. That doesn't always mean brand response initially. It's what they like to call trickle marketing. You got to feed them a little bit over time.
Yep.
And that's the part that sucks. That's the part that's the job. The job is really marketing with music on the side. At least till you get super huge, like Brando Jones Films, and you've got
so huge.
People just book you because they saw you in a vision and a dream. But I'm not there yet, so
we're getting you there, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's always a pleasure. We'll get you out of here, but thanks.
Yep. Thank you. It was a good time.
Man, that was awesome, buddy.